Good morning students. In our last video lecture, we have discussed about the line level and the plumb bob. How to use this line level and plumb bob into the construction work. This line level and plumb bob, it is used for taking out the levels and the vertical to check the verticality of the brick masonry or stone masonry. Now, in the today's video lecture, we are going to discuss about the junctions in the brick masonry and their purpose and procedure. So, junctions is a connection formed at the meeting of one subsidiary wall at some intermediate position of the another wall. When the two walls meet each other, then that point it is known as a junction. So, when one subsidiary wall it meets with some intermediate portion of another wall, it is known as a junction. जंक्शन म्हणजे काय तर ज्यावेळी एखादी सबसिडरी किंवा मेन वॉल एखाद्या इंटरमिजिएट वॉलला इंटरसेक्ट करत असेल तर त्यावेळी जो कॉर्नर फॉर्म होतो दॅट कॉर्नर इट इज नोन ॲज अ जंक्शन. सो देर आर सम टाइप्स ऑफ द जंक्शन्स. फर्स्ट that is the right angle junction, second T junction, third cross junction, and fourth that is the swayed junction. So these types of junctions, those are occurring when we are meeting some subsidiary wall with the intermediate wall. So when both the walls meet at a right angles, it gives a T junction. When a subsidiary wall meets the main wall at some intermediate point and if the angle formed between the two walls is other than the right angle, then the swayed joint is formed. In external and internal walls in the English bond, T junction is formed when the internal walls at its end meets the external wall at some intermediate position. The T junctions can be either in the English bond or the Flemish bond. Also, the cross junctions or the intersection is formed when two internal walls cross each other at right angles. One of the walls may be called as a main wall while the other it is lesser thickness known as a cross wall. The swayed joint swayed junction is formed when an internal wall meets an external wall, continuous wall at angle other than 90 degree. Generally, the angle of swayed is kept at about 45 degrees. Then swayed junctions are not very common in the brickwork. So these are the four types of the junction. Right angle junction, when the main wall it intersects with the subsidiary wall at a right angle, 90 degree angle, then that junction it is known as a T junction or the right angle junction. And then the cross junction it is formed when one main wall crosses the another wall of smaller thickness, then the cross junction it is formed. Then next swayed junction it is formed when one main wall meets the another subsidiary wall at an angle other than 90 degree. Generally this angle it is kept as 45 degrees for a better use of that corner. So these are the four types of the junctions which are used into the brick masonry. These are the pictures of different types of the junctions. In this picture we can see the T junction in the 1.5 brick thick external wall and 1 brick internal wall. So this is external wall having 1.5 brick thickness and this is the internal wall having 1 brick thickness. So this internal wall it meets at this external wall at a 90 degree angle. So it is known as a T junction because it is of the shape T. So it is known as a T junction. So here it is again the heading bond where the T junction or the cross junction you can see over here. Next, in this picture we can see the cross junctions. In these cross junctions we can see the two walls intersects each other at crosses the each other at 90 degrees. This is the main wall. For this main wall, these are the two subsidiary walls which are crosses this main wall. The similar thing is over here. This is the main wall, two subsidiary walls are crossing at 90 degree. So this type of junction, it is known as a cross junction. And then next, that is the squint junction. It is the junction where the angle of intersection, it is not 90 degrees. So these angles are maybe from 45 degrees to greater than it. So these two walls meets at an angle of 45 degrees. So it is known as a cross junction. So it may be higher degree also. So these types of junctions, these are known as a squint junctions into the brick masonry. Okay. Now the next, that is comparison between stone masonry and brick masonry. So up till today's lectures we have seen the different types of brick masonries, different bonds in the brick masonries, how to construct the brick masonry, what are the precautions we have to take, what type of bricks we have to use into the brick masonry. Before that we have seen the stone masonry, different types of the stone masonry and how to prepare or the procedure to prepare the stone masonry. Now we are going to see the comparison between stone masonry and brick masonry. So first point of comparison, it is the brick masonry, it is cheaper than the stone masonry, as the stone masonry it is costlier as compared to the brick masonry. Why this happens? Because the bricks, those are manufactured with the help of molds into the manufacturing industries. So for that purpose we don't have to need any type of dressing work for the brick masonry. As well, when we are making the brick masonry work, at that time we will not require that much skilled laborers as compared to the stone masonry. So the brick masonry it is cheaper than the stone masonry. Whether in the case of construction of stone masonry we are using different types of quarry stones, and for that stones we have to put a dressing properly, we have to make that dressing of the stones properly so that it will look better for front and back. So stone masonry it is costlier as compared to the brick masonry, and the brick masonry it is cheaper as compared to the stone masonry. A second type or the second point of comparison, it is this brick masonry it is weaker than the stone masonry. Stone masonry it is stronger than the brick masonry. Okay, so the brick masonry, in the brick masonry we are using the bricks which are made up of mud and some other material, and as compared to the stone, that bricks are weaker to carry the loads. The stones, those are quarry stones, so those are made from one igneous or metamorphic or sedimentary rock, and because of that those stones are having a greater strength compared to the brick. So the brick masonry it is weaker as compared to the stone masonry. The next point of comparison, that is brick masonry offer more fire resistance than the stone masonry. So as the bricks are manufactured into the manufacturing industries, the bricks are fired at higher temperature to get a proper solid mass. So that bricks are fired and those are properly baked into the kilns. So because of that, the bricks which we are going to use into the masonry work, those bricks are having a greater fire resistance compared to the stone masonry. Next point of comparison, that is the mortar joint are less thick than the stone masonry. As the bricks are manufactured into the industry, those are having a proper finish over it, and because of that those are having a uniform shape and size, and because of that, whatever the mortar we are going to use to join two bricks, the thickness of that mortar it is less as compared to the stone masonry. As the stones are properly dressed, also when we are putting or when we are jointing the two stones to each other, at that time we have to use a lot of amount of mortar into the stone masonry compared to the brick masonry. So whatever the joints we are providing into the brick masonry, those joints are less thick as compared to the stone masonry. And the last point of comparison, that is the brick masonry are less watertight than the stone masonry. So the brick masonry which we are using, for that brick masonry, if we have not provided a proper cover of plaster, then in that case the water may be seepage off from that wall due to the less watertight properties of the masonry. So because of that, the brick masonry are less watertight than the stone masonry. Now the next point of the study, that is suitability of the brick masonry. So where we can use the brick masonry and where we can use the stone masonry. So first we will see about the brick masonry, where the brick masonry is recommended. For small works where wall thickness required is less. So whenever the small work is going on and where the thickness of walls are required are less, at that point we are using the brick masonry. Next, where the ample quantity of good earth is available for making the bricks. So, whatever the area which are available on the earth, where the lot of quantity of mud or the good earth is available for making the bricks, so that portion or that part or that area where we can construct the brick masonry. Next, in the places of less rainfall. So as the brick masonry it is less watertight. So when the less watertight property is there into the brick masonry, in that case where the great rainfall is occurring at that places we are not going to use the brick masonry. So at the places where less rainfall occurs, there we can use the brick masonry. Next, that is where the dead loads has to be reduced. As the stone it is having a great weight, so because of that the dead load of the structure it is increasing. So where we have to reduce the dead load, at that places we are using the brick masonry. And last one, where the carpet area required is reduced. So at these 5 conditions we are going to use the brick masonry in the construction purpose. Next one, the suitability of the stone masonry. The stone masonry it is recommended where the strength, durability and excellent weather resistance qualities are required. As the stones are strong enough to carry a large amount of loads, so the durability of the structure is more, and where the excellent weather resistance has to be required, at that places we recommend the stone masonry. Second thing, where the building requires the aesthetic view. So whenever we are going a aesthetic front view for the building or a decorative front view for the building, at that point we can use the stone masonry for the aesthetic purpose. Next thing, where there are the chances of salts mixed with water or sewage to come in the contact of the wall constructed. So, in the case of the construction of sewers and water supply lines, in that cases the masonry work which is constructed, it comes in the contact with the salted water, or in some chemical industries also this will happen, and for that purpose we are using or we are recommending the stone masonry, as the stones are excellent weather resistance as well as they are having a proper resistance against these properties. And fourth thing for which we are recommending the stone masonry, it is where the stone is available in the abundance. So where the lot of amount of stone is available, so at that places we can use the stone masonry. So these are the four conditions where we can use the stone masonry or we can recommend the stone masonry. Now the next part of the chapter, that is the hollow brick masonry. Okay. So first of all, what is the meaning of hollow bricks? The use of cement concrete blocks in the masonry construction is developing rapidly due to the various advantages. So nowadays we are seeing a lot of cement concrete bricks or the blocks, those are used into the construction of masonry due to the lot of advantages of those. So this type of cement concrete blocks which are having some part of core in that part, it is known as a hollow brick masonry. So the cement concrete blocks may be solid or the hollow. The solid blocks are available in the market with the trade name as a C4X when the light in color. Cement concrete is largely used for the construction purposes on account of its numerous advantages over the other building materials. The hollow units may be defined as those units which have core void area greater than 25% of their total areas. The blocks shall have their water absorption less than 10%. To make the use of these blocks in the construction, the overall length and the width of the wall should be fixed accordingly as to make the use of one block or the half length of blocks possible. So this type of hollow brick masonry, nowadays the use of these types of masonry, it is increasing because of the lot of advantages of these types of material over the other building material. So the solid blocks which are available into the market today, those are known as C4X blocks, and these are used nowadays in the lot of amount. So as per the requirement of these blocks to fix the one block or the half block, the length and the width of the masonry, it is adjusted as per the conditions of the hollow block masonry. So these are the some images of the hollow blocks. So here we can see one block which is having one core in between this. So it is known as a hollow. This is the hollow portion which is provided into the concrete cover. It is known as a hollow block. So here we can see the various parts of this hollow block masonry. Next, in this figure also we can see the different forms of hollow concrete blocks which are used into the construction purpose. So, these types of masonry, it is used generally into the construction of some commercial buildings or the apartments where a lot of bricks or the lot of brickwork is there which is used into the construction purpose. So these are the some terms which are used into the hollow concrete block. Now we can see the advantages of the hollow brick masonry. So this hollow brick permits adoption of thinner wall which ultimately results in increased floor space. As we are providing the cement concrete blocks, these blocks are having greater strength compared to the brick and stones, and because of that the size can be reduced, and because of that we are having the increased floor space into the masonry. Second, As the air space in the block is 25%, the total area of the block, it means there is saving of the material. So as we provide a core into the block, because of that core into the block, we are saving our construction material. So because of that, we are saving our construction material. As the weight of the block is less, it results in the rapid execution of the work. So whenever the work of the masonry, it is going to be happened, at that time, as the weight of the block is less, and because of this light weight, the rapid execution of the work can be possible. Next, the hollow space in the blocks enables the masonry to have good insulating properties against sound, heat and dampness. So the blocks are hollow inside and they are having some air space inside, and because of that these blocks act as a sound resisting, heat resisting and also a dampness resisting. So these are having a lot of properties, a lot of insulating properties, good insulating properties. And the last advantage, as the blocks are precast, the surface is smooth and hence less plastering material is required. So as we know, the C4X blocks, these are manufactured into the molds. So the surface of those blocks, those are smooth compared to other construction material, and because of that purpose the plastering material which is required, it is into the less amount. So these are the some advantages of hollow brick masonry, because of which nowadays the hollow brick masonry, it is popular in the construction of commercial and residential buildings. So today we will stop over here. Thank you.